Right now, beneath 45 feet of Antarctic ice, something is alive. Something that shouldn't exist. Something that changes everything we thought we knew about the limits of life on Earth. In January 2020, a team of scientists made a discovery so profound that it sent shockwaves through the scientific community. They found liquid water in one of the most hostile environments on the planet. But that's not the shocking part. Inside that water, they found life. Complex, thriving, organized life. In complete darkness. In freezing temperatures, cut off from the surface world for potentially millions of years. This is the story of Enigma Lake and what it means for the future of humanity. The expedition started like any other Antarctic research mission. A team of scientists trekked across the frozen wasteland, their instruments scanning the ice beneath their feet. They were heading to a remote area that barely existed on maps. The goal was simple: drill some ice cores, collect data, move on, but their equipment started showing readings that didn't make sense. The radar was penetrating deep into the ice and bouncing back signals that suggested something impossible. Liquid water, lots of it, in a place where everything should be frozen solid for eternity. They set up the drilling equipment. Hour after hour, the drill bit carved through ancient ice, 10 feet down, 20 feet, 30 feet. The team didn't know what they'd find, but they kept going. At 40 feet, the drill broke through into open water. The scientists were stunned. They had just discovered a hidden subglacial lake in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. But the questions were just beginning. Where did this water come from? How long had it been here? And most importantly, was there anything alive down there? Antarctica is not kind to water. The temperatures regularly drop to minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The winds scream across the ice at over 100 miles per hour. There's almost no precipitation. Solar radiation evaporates what little moisture exists. Any liquid water exposed to these conditions would disappear within days. So how was this lake still here? The team collected water samples and began analyzing the chemical composition. They looked at the dissolved minerals, the salt content, the isotopic signatures. Every test pointed to the same conclusion. This lake wasn't being fed by rain or surface melting. There was an underground water source, a hidden channel beneath the ice, continuously supplying fresh water to the lake. Think about that for a moment. Beneath the frozen surface of Antarctica, there's an entire network of water flowing through channels we didn't know existed. A secret circulatory system running through the coldest place on Earth. But the real discovery was still to come. When the scientists examined the water samples under microscopes, they saw something that changed everything. Movement, life, microorganisms swimming in the water. This wasn't just any water. It was a complete ecosystem thriving in conditions that should make life impossible. The team deployed underwater cameras, and what they saw looked like something from another planet. The lake bed was covered in microbial mats, complex structures built by colonies of microorganisms working together. These weren't just random bacteria floating in water. These were organized communities, building, growing, and evolving in total isolation. Some of the mats looked like thin, spiky carpets covering the rocks. Others were thick and crumpled, layered over millions of cellular generations. But the most incredible structures looked like trees, branching, upright formations reaching up to 15 inches tall from the lake bed, in the darkness, in the cold, with no sunlight, no fresh nutrients from above, no connection to the outside world. These microbes had been down there for thousands, possibly millions of years, completely cut off from the rest of life on Earth. They had evolved their own strategies for survival, their own ecosystems, their own rules. It was like discovering an alien world without ever leaving our planet. And here's where it gets really interesting. If life can exist under 45 feet of ice in Antarctica, in complete darkness, in near freezing water, with virtually no nutrients, then where else can life exist? What about the ice moons of Jupiter and Saturn? Europa has an ocean beneath miles of ice. Enceladus has geysers of water shooting into space. Scientists have spent decades wondering if life could exist in those environments. Enigma Lake just proved it's possible, but this discovery comes with a serious warning. These microorganisms have never been exposed to the outside world. They've never encountered human bacteria, viruses, or any of the millions of microbes that exist on the surface. Their immune systems, if you can even call them that, have never had to deal with external threats. What happens when we drill into their world? What happens when we introduce contamination from our equipment, our breath, our presence. We could be looking at a mass extinction event playing out in real time. Or worse, we could introduce something from the lake into our world, something that's been isolated for millions of years and has no place in our modern ecosystems. The ethical questions are staggering. Do we have the right to study these organisms if it means potentially destroying them? Can we afford not to study them if they hold the secrets to life in extreme environments? This isn't just about science, it's about responsibility. But Enigma Lake is just one piece of Antarctica's puzzle. This continent keeps revealing secrets that challenge everything we think we know. In 2021, researchers sent a robot under the Ross Ice Shelf and found sea anemones hanging upside down from the ice ceiling. These delicate creatures were living in water cold enough to kill most life forms, waving their tentacles in the current like flowers in a breeze, a completely new species, living where no one thought to look. Then there's the Antarctic strawberry feather star, discovered in 2023. This creature looks like an alien prop from a science fiction movie. It has up to 20 arms radiating from a central body that, yes, looks remarkably like a strawberry. It floats through the water like a living pom-pom, and scientists are still trying to figure out how it survives in these conditions. But perhaps the most mind-blowing discovery was the fish nursery. In 2022, researchers were mapping the seafloor when their cameras started showing strange bowl-shaped depressions in the sediment. Thousands of them, then millions. The nests covered 93 square miles of ocean floor, with approximately 60 million individual nests spaced about 10 inches apart. They belong to ice fish, one of the strangest creatures in the ocean. These fish have white blood, not pale blood, white blood. They completely lack hemoglobin, the protein that makes blood red and carries oxygen. Somehow, they've evolved to survive in water so cold it would kill any other vertebrate on Earth. Each nest contains about 1,700 eggs, guarded by a single parent fish. And here's the kicker: Weddell seals love eating ice fish. So this massive breeding ground isn't just a nursery, it's also a feeding ground for one of Antarctica's top predators, the circle of life at its most extreme. The ice fish themselves feed on zooplankton brought up by a warm water upwelling from the deep ocean. And get this, the edge of the nursery matches exactly with the edge of the warm upwelling. Evolution drew a perfect line in the sand, defining exactly where these fish could survive and where they couldn't. But Antarctica's secrets go deeper than bizarre fish and hidden lakes. In 2022, scientists recovered what might be the oldest ice ever brought to the surface. Ice cores containing air bubbles that are 1.2 million years old. Before this, the oldest climate records went back 800,000 years. That's already mind-blowing, being able to analyze air from nearly 1 million years ago. But these new cores push the record back another 400,000 years. The air trapped in these bubbles is the actual atmosphere of Earth from over 1 million years ago. The same air our ancient ancestors breathed. And what that air reveals is terrifying. Around 900,000 years ago, something catastrophic happened to the climate. Genetic studies suggest that the entire human population crashed to about 1/300 individuals. Think about that. The entire human species was reduced to roughly the population of a small village. We came within a hair's breadth of extinction. What caused it? No one knows for sure, but the answer might be locked in those ice bubbles. Understanding what happened then could help us understand what's happening now. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The planet has been through these cycles before, and it will go through them again. Which brings us to Antarctica's most terrifying secret, the volcanoes. Yes, volcanoes. Under the ice. Scientists recently used computer simulations to model what's happening beneath Antarctica's ice sheets, and what they found should keep you up at night. There are active volcanic systems under the ice, and as the ice melts, the pressure on those volcanoes decreases. When the pressure decreases, the volcanoes become more active. When they become more active, they melt more ice from below. When more ice melts, the pressure decreases further. It's a feedback loop, a runaway chain reaction that could accelerate ice loss far beyond what we've predicted. And here's the really scary part. Even if humanity stopped all carbon emissions tomorrow, this process might continue on its own. The ice is already melting. The pressure is already dropping. The volcanoes are already waking up. Antarctica contains over 70% of all fresh water on Earth. If even a fraction of that ice melts, sea levels will rise by meters, not centimeters. Coastal cities would disappear. Hundreds of millions of people would be displaced. The map of the world would have to be redrawn. So what do we do with all this information? What does Enigma Lake, with its impossible life and hidden ecosystems, teach us about our planet and our future? It teaches us that life is more resilient than we ever imagined. It teaches us that Earth still has secrets we haven't discovered. It teaches us that we need to be careful, because once we disturb these ancient systems, we can never put them back the way they were. Antarctica is a library of Earth's history, written in ice and stone and hidden water. Every discovery is a page in that library, and we're only just learning how to read it. The microbial mats of Enigma Lake might hold the key to finding life on other worlds. The ice cores might tell us how to survive the climate changes ahead. The volcanic systems might warn us of catastrophes we can still prevent, but only if we're careful, only if we approach these discoveries with humility and respect, only if we remember that we're not just observers of this planet, we're part of it. The scientists who discovered Enigma Lake didn't just find a hidden body of water. They found a mirror that reflects back everything we don't know about life, survival, and the future of our species. And what we see in that mirror should inspire both wonder and caution, because beneath the ice, in the darkness, in conditions that should make life impossible, something is thriving. And if life can find a way there, maybe it can find a way anywhere. If this story expanded your understanding of what's possible on our planet, hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries. Drop a comment and let me know. Do you think we should keep exploring Antarctica's hidden ecosystems, or should we leave them undisturbed? And if you want to dive deeper into the mysteries of extreme life, check out the videos on screen now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.